Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnuvad, Paramahansa, Vajari Sadadada Shishima, Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta, Prabhupada. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Minde Ki Jai, Namacharya Srilas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Saga Sri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasudha Bhaktavinda Ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shankunda Radha Kuniran Ki Jai, Vrindavandam Ki Jai, Mathura Ki Jai, Navritam Ki Jai, Gangamayi Ki Jai, Yamunamayi Ki Jai, Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktanti Ki Jai, Gauda Pramananti. All glories to the assembly devotees, all glories to the assembly devotees, all glories to the assembly devotees, all glories to Sri Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Von den Deities? Ist die von den Deities oder von? Nee, von.
Das weiß ich nicht. Die ist vom Blumenzimmer.
Bitte?
Vom Blumenzimmer.
Vom Blumenzimmer, okay. Eine Frage. Ich sehe gerade hier das Buch vor mir. A Transcendental Diary from Hari Saudi. Lest ihr das jeden Morgen? Nee? Bitte?
Du lest dir immer gerne davon normalerweise.
Oh ja? Woher weißt du das? Oh ja? Okay. Ja, dann entschuldigt bitte, dass ich die Klasse damit beginne, dass ich über Prabhupada ein bisschen lese. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pachaline Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashtatyari Shataline. Da ist sogar ein Lesezeichen dran. Okay, so wir beginnen dann hier. Prabhupada befindet sich zurzeit in Vrindavan, Sri Vrindavan Dham. Ist es okay in Englisch? Alle sprechen Englisch? Early this morning, Prabhupada sent for the temple managers and angrily chastised them because we have spent 50 lakhs of rupees to build such a big temple and guest house. Yet he cannot get hot water in the cold season. The past few mornings, the water has been so cold that he couldn't even brush his teeth. One after another, Gopal Krishna, Akshayananda, Gauranava, Dhananjaya were called. No one seemed to want to take responsibility. Srila Prabhupada demanded to know why. Whenever they offered a feeble excuse or explanation, he abruptly cut them off. It was clear he wanted to hear a plan for rectifying the mistakes, not excuses. This reminds me of something else that sometimes devotees used to come to Srila Prabhupada and ask for forgiveness because they had made a mistake or something like that. And Prabhupada would not forgive this mistake unless it was corrected. Because it's easy to say, oh, I'm sorry, and but actually Prabhupada expected devotees to take full responsibility for their mistakes and rectify them properly. But the devotees assured him when the devotees assured him that the problem would be fixed immediately, Prabhupada's mood changed. As quickly as he has arisen, his anger disappeared. In other words, Prabhupada, when he became angry, he wasn't completely controlled by his anger, but he controlled his anger. He just used it properly. As our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, was training us in every aspect of devotional service, his praise and criticism are never unreasonable or excessive, but always intended to push us forward in our spiritual progress. He expects us to be conscientious. He expected us to be conscientious, as attention to the details of our service is a practical manifestation of our seriousness and sincerity. He doesn't like to hear excuses for task undone, and he loathes the bureaucracy. He expects us to be conscientious, as attention to the details of our service is a spiritual manifestation of our seriousness and sincerity. He doesn't like to hear excuses for task undone, and he loathes the bureaucracy and the bureaucratic mentality that in the West is called passing the buck. Yeah? Den Eimer weitergeben. The buck is the, you know what the buck is? Yeah, okay. He told, actually, there's instances where Prabhupada, there was a mistake or something. I remember in New York there was a big problem. And the devotees were all, I say, like, beschweren, what is that? Complaining. And in the end, Prabhupada said, why didn't you take responsibility? Why yourself didn't take responsibility? Because sometimes it's thought that, well, the authorities will do it, I have nothing to do with this. But Prabhupada expected that we all become conscious. When there are some mistakes, that we ourselves try to solve this problem. Not that we pass the buck, like Prabhupada says here. Den Eimer weitergeben. Despite his criticism of the management over the hot water incident, Prabhupada is very pleased with the service of Surab and the other devotees. More than once he has asked me during massage what I thought of the guest house and temple, and said, yes, I think he has done very nicely. There's no such buildings anywhere, but he is determined not to allow us to become complacent. Now the facility has to be maintained and managed efficiently, and Srila Prabhupada is personally showing us how to do it. As the representative of Krishna, he wants to make sure that whatever resources Lord Krishna has provided are used correctly without waste. And he is constantly urging us to develop the same sense of responsibility. Now, these are very important points, that we become responsible. Just like at the time I was reading, I was thinking that just like so many people give donations to the temple, or they put donations in the donation box like that. Actually, those who are receiving these donations or utilizing these donations, they have to learn how to be very, very responsible. First of all, when you give money, money is loaded with karma. So if you don't use it properly or use it only for yourself, then you have to assume the result of the karma accumulated within the money. In the material world, all the activities are, I say, loaded with karma. Money is a result of karma. And besides that also, when people give donations, it's a way how to make progress in spiritual life. They offer something. And if we don't use it properly, it's a kind of cheating process. Because when people do something or give money or give donations, it's a way to progress. That's why in Vedic culture only the Brahmins were supposed to accept donations. They were the only ones who would be able to go door to door to ask for donations. And people used to give them with the understanding, this is purifying for me, because the Brahmana is supposed to live simple life, high thinking, and everything he does, everything he speaks, has to be related with Krishna, responsibly. Just like Prabhupada explained, the Brahmanas, when they had this responsibility to educate people properly, direct people properly. In the first canto, it says relating to Parikshin Maharaj. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining there that the responsibility of the kings was very, very important. They had this responsibility, first of all, to protect people, and see that they were properly occupied according to their guna karma. Like the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, and also different ashrams. According to the mentality, guna karma, they were supposed to be engaged. It says that when Parikshit Maharaj was traveling through his kingdom, most of all what he did was to see that people were properly situated. Just like the story was that he came to a place where there was a Shudra, Shudra dressed as a king, beating a cow and beating a bull. And so without the big court case or whatever, he immediately took out his sword, ready to chastise this person, because he had, given pain to cow and bull. And on the other side, I heard that once Prabhupada said that these great kings, when they were traveling, they were surrounded by the best Brahmins. So they were always giving them the best advice, Guru Sadhu Shastra. They were not, just like Chanakya Pandit, it's a very nice story. Srila Prabhupada used to always quote Chanakya Pandit, as a perfect Brahman. Actually, Prabhupada once said that he was not a Vaishnava, but he was a Paka Brahman. He was a very reasonable person. So this Chanakya Pandit, he was the first minister in the government. I remember the name now of the king. Chandragupta. Chandragupta. And it says that when he came to get advice from his minister, his Brahmin, he was used to come by walking out of the palace. And Chanakya Pandit was living in little, choza in Spanish. What is that in Deutsch? A hut, yeah, small hut. And he never entered the king's palace, to not become confused by the opulence and all that. So he was living in a hut, and the king would pay obeisances, and he would ask advice. And Prabhupada said that Chanakya Pandit didn't make big discourses. He said, just do this. This is proper. This is what Shastra said. And there was no place for discussion or something like that. And actually the king became very powerful. At that time, the northern part of India was conquered by the Greeks. And under the guidance of Chanakya Pandit, he was able to kick them out of India at that time. Anyway, so these things are very important. We can learn so much from Srila Prabhupada. That's why I introduce this, reading Lilamrita, the Transcendental Diary. Transcendental Diary. Because everything Prabhupada does, everything he writes, everything he speaks is full of meaning. Very, very powerful. That reminds me of something else. In Vedic times, especially in the beginning, like in Satya Yuga and all these places, the Brahmins were very, very powerful. When they would curse somebody, the curse would comply. It was not just, like screaming or something. No? And when they would give a benediction, the benediction would manifest actually. Very powerful. Just like when Chandaka Pandit came to the house of the sage, and he became very angry because the sage was so absorbed in inner meditation, he didn't give any attention to the king. No, and he put the dead snake around his neck, insulting him. And then it says in Bhagavatam, the Shringi, the son of the Brahman, immediately knew. So they had mystic powers. They knew. And also Parishra Maharaj. Within a very short time, he knew. Oh. And when he heard about the curse, he thought that, what a benediction. He felt happy about the curse. Why? Because he knew perfectly well when would come the last minute, the last moment of his life. So he was very eager, very, very anxious to prepare himself for that. Very important, how you say that? Prüfung, what is that? Prüfung, yeah. Prüfung. Exam. Yeah. Because cultured people, no. It says actually, there's nothing securer than death. It's the most important moment in our life. Why? Because at the time of death, everything you have done summarizes. And according to this summarization, you get your new destination, your new body. That's why Parishra Maharaj felt very, very happy to get this benediction. Anyway, I don't want to extend it unnecessarily. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Sorry to use this machine, but I have problems with my eyes. I cannot see the small letters so much anymore. And this machine allows me to aggrandize the letters. What verse was it again?
4:7:34.
Sorry, somebody gave me another text. Chapter 7? Oh, okay. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Rishaya Uchu Ananvitam te Bhagavan Vichistitam Yadatmana Charasihi Karma Yujyase Vibhutaye Yata Pasedurishvarim Namanyate Swayam Anuvartatim Bhavan Ayavuchu Ananvitam de Bhagavan Vichestitam
Amanitam te bhagavan vicheshtitam. Atmana charasihi kamanachyase. Yadatmana charasihi kamanachyase. Utaya yata upasedu ishvaram. Utaya yata upasedu ishvaram. Swayam anuvatatim bhavan. Namanyate swayam anuvatatim bhavan.
Vishaya uchuhu.
Vishaya uchuhu.
Amanvitam te bhagavan visheshtitam.
Amanvitam te bhagavan vicheshtitam.
Yadatmana charasihi kamanachyase.
Yadatmana charasihi kamanachyase.
Vibhutaye yata upasedu ishvarim.
Vibhutaye yata upasedu ishvarim.
Namanyate swayam anuvatatim bhavan.
Namanyate swayam anuvatatim bhavan.
Didam.
Amanvitam te bhagavan vicheshtitam. Yadatmana charasihi kamanachyase. Namanyate swayam anuvatatim bhavan. Vishaya uchuhu.
Tam te bhagavan vichestitam. Yadatmana charasihi karmanachyase. Utyaye yata upasiturishvarim.
Namanyate swayam anuvatatim bhavan.
Nam. Rishaya, the sages. Uju, prayed. Ananvitam, wonderful. Te, your. Bhagavan, O possessor of all opulences. Vichestitam, activities. Yat, which. Atmana, by your potencies. Charasi, you execute. He, certainly. Karma, to such activities. Na ajyase, you are not attached. Vibhutaye, for her mercy. Yata, from whom? Upasidu, worshipped. Ishvarim, Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. Na manyante, na manyate, are not attached. Swayam, yourself. Anuvartatim, to your obedient servant Lakshmi. Bhavan, your lordship. Translation. The sages prayed, Dear Lord, your activities are most wonderful, and although you do everything for your different potencies, and although you do everything by your different potencies, you are not at all attached to such activities. You are not even attached to the goddess of fortune, who is worshipped by the great demigods like Brahma, who pray to achieve her mercy. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita it is said that the Lord has no desire to achieve any result from his wonderful activities, nor has he any need to perform them. But still, in order to give an example to people in general, he sometimes acts, and those activities are very wonderful. He is not attached to anything. Namam karmani limpati. Although he acts very wonderfully, he is not at all attached to anything. He is all... No, there's a quote here in the... reference to a verse here in Bhagavad Gita. I will read it also. Namam karma nirimpanti name karma parespriha iti mam yo vijanati karma bina savadhyate. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. I'm sorry. He is self-sufficient. The example is given here that the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, is always engaged in the service of the Lord, but still he is not attached to her. Even great demigods like Brahma worship the goddess of fortune in order to win her favor. But although the Lord is worshipped by many hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune, he is not at all attached to any one of them. This distinction concerning the exalted transcendental position of the Lord is specifically mentioned by the great sages. He is not like the ordinary living entity who is attached to the results of pious activities. Jaya uchu ananvitam bhagavan vestitam yadatmana charasi karmanatyase vibhutaye yatapa sadur ishvarim namanyate swayam anuvartatim bhavam. The sages prayed, Dear Lord, your activities are most wonderful, and although you do everything by your different potencies, you're not at all attached to such activities. You're not even attached to the goddess of fortune, who is worshipped by the great demigods like Brahma, who pray to achieve her mercy. Shri Chaitanya Manivustam Stavitam Yena Buddha Swayam Rupakatamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. So here we hear prayers of sages, and these prayers are full of potencies, or also one might say full of realization. This reminds me that at one point Prabhupada said that we should become accustomed to pray the prayers of the great sages. Just like our songs, they're composed by Bhakti Thakur and other great sages. Whereas our prayers, our personal prayers, because we're not pure devotees, there's always a tendency to ask for something of God, of Krishna. Please do this for me, help me with this, like that. Whereas these great sages, they're completely pure. Like Prabhupada mentions here, purity is that you become free of your personal desires, and become completely, surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord. Bahunam jamanamanti gyanavanam papadyanti vasudeva savamihi samahatma sudurava. Krishna says, after many, many births and death, and one actually achieves real knowledge, one surrenders unto me. Sabendo ki, that's in Spanish. After so many births and death, if one achieves real knowledge, one surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes. Samahatma sudurlabha. Such a great soul is very, very rarely found. So this opportunity to actually associate with devotees, what to say with pure devotees, is very, very, very special. Just this verse I quoted from the Bhagavad Gita. This is a long, long process. Even the Vedic process also. The prolonged Vedic process, practiced in other ages. You would gradually move yourself up. Take birth as let's say, a low-class person like a Shudra. By executing all your duties, you will be elevated to the next platform. And again, you will be elevated to the next platform. Gradually, you would come to the point, like Bhagavad Gita says, that one surrenders to Krishna. This is the whole idea. Kalir dosha nideja asimahe guna kirtanareva Krishna mukta sangha paramati. But in this age, all these processes are without power. How you say? They have no strength. Actually, Krishna says, Bhagavatam says, that this age of Kali is an ocean of faults. So many bad things. But eko mahanguna. Eko mahanguna, eko is one. Mahaguna. There's a very, very special, great qualities in this age of Kali. And what is that? The chanting of the holy name. Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevanam. Kalavana stevana, 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 hadinanyata. It's emphasized 3 times. I mentioned it many times. You can also say, chant the holy name, chant the holy name, chant the holy name. And there's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. That's why it says 3 times, to let it be clear, to emphasizing. There's no other process in this age of Kali Yuga than the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. But in other ages, things were different. Just like we heard about the composer, Schrift, anyway, of the Ramayana, Valmiki Muni. He had to meditate for 60,000 years before he became completely pure, until he was instructed by his guru, by his spiritual master, to compose the Ramayana. That's another nice verse in Bhagavatam that says that Kijay Jaya to Vishnu Tridayam Jadamakai Dvapare Parichayayam Kalau Tatari Kirtana. Who knows this verse? No? It says that what you achieved in Satya Yuga by meditation on Vishnu, what you achieved in Treta Yuga by sacrifice, what you achieved in Dvapara Yuga by worship or by deity worship, you can achieve in this age of Kali Yuga by this simple chanting. Well, maybe it's not so simple for everybody, but a simple chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Yeah, there's another thing I want to mention in this regard. That there are 18 Puranas. And these 18 Puranas are divided into 3 parts. There are 6 Puranas for the mode of ignorance, 6 Puranas for the person, the mode of passion, and 6 Puranas for the people in the mode of goodness. And I just, some time ago, I heard a conversation with Srila Prabhupada, where Prabhupada said that actually everything is allowed but under conditions. You can do anything but under Vedic conditions, rules and regulations. Just like Prabhupada mentioned this, gives this example, somebody wants to eat meat, which is very abominable for people in the mode of goodness. But Prabhupada said, if you want to eat meat, the Puranas give you advice how to prepare, how to get the meat. By choosing a goat, a black goat. And you cannot buy the meat somewhere, but you have to perform a sacrifice by killing the goat. And part of it is that it has to be black. It has to be killed at midnight, at the moonless part of the month. It's black. It's dark. Then the goat has to be killed at midnight in the presence of a Brahmana. That means before you cut off the head of the goat, the Brahmana says a mantra. And he says, my dear goat, I'm taking your life. And I promise you that you will have an opportunity to kill me in the future. So this is, if you want to eat meat, you have to follow this process. And of course, these Vedic procedures are meant such that one becomes more and more, one wakes up more and more. One understands what one is doing. And understands the consequences of all these things. Just like drugs also, intoxication. It says that if you want to take liquor, there is some liquor that is made of rice. You can't buy it anywhere. And even nowadays, when you go to India, many places, you cannot buy alcoholic drinks. Only special places like that. Not like here, you go to a supermarket and you have a whole, how you say, offerta. What is that, offerta? An Angebot of so many different alcoholic drinks. No, you have to produce it yourself. You have to distillion, what? No, distillion. No, until you finally get the liquor after so much work and so many difficulties. Now, if you can't get free of sex desire, you're allowed to marry. You're allowed to marry. And have nice children like that. But in the end, you will have to understand that, wow, what an entanglement. So much inversion, so much time. And at that time, you're supposed to renounce. Okay, the process goes in a very natural way. One gets married, has children. Once the children are big enough, I say grown up, and they lead their own life, then you again can dedicate to yourself, dedicate to spiritual life exclusively. That's the idea. And in the end also, well, depends on the varnas. It says that the brahmanas are supposed to pass through the 4 varnas, ashram, what I'm saying, 4 ashrams. And the kshatriyas, 3 ashrams, no sannyas. The vaishyas, 2 ashrams, education and household life. And shudras, only household life. So these are all different processes, gradual processes. And more religious people were, the more they were regulating all the activities on the basis of Vedic principles, Vedic principles, Vedic form of life. But today, like it says in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, in this age of Kali, in the age where we are living now, everyone is born Shudra. There might be some people who say they're Brahmins, especially in India. Or somebody might say, oh, my father is a Brahmin, I'm also Brahmin. But actually, Bhagavad Gita contradicts this. Chaturvanya maya shristam guna karma vibhagasha. Krishna says, I created the Varna system according to guna karma, to your proper qualities, not the qualities of your father. Maybe Prabhupada gave an example. Somebody might take birth in the family of High Court, of a High Court judge. But he's not a High Court judge himself, automatically, because he's the son of a High Court judge. First he has to go to university. He has certain, there's some requirements for that, for university study and all that. And then, if he actually achieves the qualities necessary, then he can become himself a judge. So the same way, in Vedic culture, like I mentioned before, I mentioned Parishit Maharaj, his prime duty was to see that everyone was properly situated according to guna karma. Anyway, so this is not so easy. That one becomes a Brahmin. I was over in Vrindavan once, and we took a rickshaw. I don't know where we were going. And then when the trip was finished, and we paid the rickshawala. And the guy took out a Brahman thread and said, I'm also Brahman. He saw my Brahman thread. And he said, oh, I'm also Brahman. And he was like kind of, didn't. I doubted that he was actually even following the principles of purity, of cleanliness properly. Anyway, so this is Vedic culture. Like I started saying, that actually everything is allowed. You can do anything, but under Vedic regulations. So you're not affected by the sinful reactions. And you're actually you're becoming purified gradually, to achieve the real purpose of life, to comply the real purpose of life. That you reawaken, your identities, but you achieve self-realization. Like Krishna says in the beginning, well, I don't know the verse now in English, but anyways, it says as the embodied soul passes, what is that? Continuously, from boyhood to youth to old age, in the same way, when we give up its body, the soul continues existing. Just like we have continued, have changed bodies. Just like when you go up to 70 years, you have practically changed your body 7 times. 10 times. But the soul is still present. The living entity is still present. And that's actually the basis. This is the first verse of instructions of Krishna to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. Unless you understand that, at least theoretically, there's no question of spiritual life. And also, it's mentioned here, that the demigods are praying to Krishna when he appeared. This event was very special. Wasn't it Daksha? He appeared before Daksha. In what form did he appear there? You remember that?
Vishnu in many arms.
Yeah, Vishnu appeared before Daksha. Daksha had committed a great mistake, a great offense, offending Shiva. This is actually offending Vaishnavas, offending saintly persons. This is very, very obnoxious. Anyway, so then Daksha came to his senses. There's a lot. You reading that before? Very, very nice story actually. Very nice pastime. And then he came to his senses, and actually because he had cut off his head, and it was already destroyed, already burned, and there was no other head to put him on again. And the only head they found there was a head of a goat. So they put a goat on his body. And he was actually praying to Krishna with the head of a goat. Yeah. So, and when Krishna appeared, all the great personalities, like it says here also, the demigods. Actually, Daksha was one of the first living entities of the universe. He was the direct son of Brahma. Brahma created the Prajapatis to, what is that?
Progenitors?
Ja, I mean, der Schöpfer der ersten Generation, da gibt es ein besonderes Wort in Deutsch, in Englisch. Anyway, so Daksha was one of them. And he also gave instructions to his sons to populate the universe. And I just remember one detail, that there was, he had 10,000 sons. 10,000, he sent them to the forest to practice austerities, to be successful, in their term also create many, many children to populate the whole universe. Anyway, so they went to the forest. At a time when they were practiced their severe austerities, Narada Muni appeared in that forest. And he was wondering what they were doing. They were young, seemed to be very intelligent, they came from good descendants, how is it? Good descendants. Yeah. So Narada Muni had a different vision. He thought they're just wasting their time. They should actually become devotees. And he started speaking to them, and he made them all devotees. A huge bhakta program, 10,000 bhaktas. And then Daksha created more sons, and again Narada Muni appeared, and then Daksha cursed Narada Muni. He cursed him such that he said, "Now I curse you not to be able to be at one place more than a moment." And Narada Muni, he took it as a benediction, because actually it says that like sannyasis should only be at one place, 3 days. Because after 3 days you become too, comfortable, whatever it is. Anyway, so he took it as a benediction, so he wouldn't get entangled with so many unnecessary things. It's very interesting how devotees see things different. Just like I mentioned when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed, he didn't take it as a curse. He said it was actually a benediction. Anyway, so then in the end it says he again created sons, but because of that problem, then he changed his mind, and he only started creating girls. And it says it's very interesting. I remember, from this part of the Bhagavatam, it was saying that Daksha, had a lot of daughters, and I remember they didn't only create humans; they also created other forms. I don't know how that works, but so many other forms would also come and populate the universe. You remember that? Yeah. Can you say something more to that?
Manu was creating with his wife all kind of different species.
Yeah, and with the daughters of Daksha, no? I remember the daughters of Daksha also. Of course, they got married to so many great personalities. Yeah. So the worship of the demigods is also a process, but under strict rules and regulations. It's not something that we invent or something like that. The idea is, when the living entity evolutionizes, how do you say it?
Evolves.
Yeah, evolves. Normally, first, when they are elevated to the point that they want to worship, or they understand there's authorities above them, then they start worshiping the demigods, karma kanda. Then jnana kanda. Jnana kanda means, when the soul is becoming further purified, it gives more importance to knowledge than fruitive results. And when there is knowledge, austerity also becomes feasible. And when there's austerity, and if this austerity is properly guided, then naturally our eternal relationship with Krishna is revived. This is the whole. It says that karma kanda is not so good, or jnana kanda, whatever it is, or worship the demigods not so good, but it's actually a part of a process, a long, long process. That's why I mentioned this verse from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, that in this age all these different processes have no value, have no potency, and the only process to be executed is the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And we haven't invented this. No, this was actually brought to us by Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya. No, Srila Prabhupada, you have come before? Huh? You have been here before? Our Indian guests? Oh, so you know the Srila Prabhupada, right? Yeah. Who is Srila Prabhupada?
Founder of ISKCON.
Ah, yeah. Very good. Hare Krishna. Actually, Srila Prabhupada brought us all this. And he came to the West in a very advanced age. Yeah. He left India with 69. And he arrived in America 60. Anyway, he had his birthday on the trip. Normally when people come up to 70 years or something like that, they're not interested to change their life very much. Actually it says, when Prabhupada, the last time Prabhupada stayed in Vrindavan, actually he became a very respectable gentleman, very respectable Vaishnava in Vrindavan. We have photos that sometimes important people come to Vrindavan for Janmashtami or something like that. And it was a custom that the authorities would bring them to Srila Prabhupada. Have Prabhupada explain the real meaning of Janmashtami and all that. But Srila Prabhupada left under the instruction of his spiritual master. He came to the West. And he came to the world which was so different. Actually, New York at that time, not anymore, was a center of Kali Yuga practically. Everyone was copying America, all over the world. All their bad habits and all their whiskey and who knows what, so many things. Yeah. Even the dressing, just like jeans coming from America. These are trousers of Shudras. The Holzfäller, what is that? Also go to the forest and cut the trees. They were using jeans. And this Shudra dress is becoming very popular. Because most of the people are just Shudras. Everything Shudra becomes very popular. Like football also. It's actually Shudra. It doesn't have any. They are running behind a ball, a leather ball like that. Sorry to offend anybody here. I don't know. In South America, football is how you say, it's a holy process. Huh? Yeah. Like the Weltmeisterschaft,
World Cup.
The World Cup. Even in the temples, because they're South Americans. Even in the temples, where it's a World Cup, they put a TV there in the temple and see what's going on. I remember I was there in Buenos Aires, and there was a World Cup, and the last play was Germany against Argentina. And at that time, Germany won, and I had to walk up into my room. And the next time was the same thing, same two parties. How you say equipment? What is that? Mancha, team. And Argentina won. And when Argentina won, we all went on the street and danced with everybody else, chanting Hare Krishna. Well, I'm sorry for coughing so much. Any question maybe? Or some comment? Wolltest du was sagen?
Ja, eine Frage. Question. The story with Narada Muni that he got cursed, was it Daksha or Chitraketu, Maharaj?
Daksha, as far as I remember.
Für 10,000 sons. Oh. Okay. Aber es war etwas Chitraketu.
Haribo.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, I have a question because I was listening, and when I'm reading also, I had this question already. but I'm trying not to have many questions. But now maybe I may to ask. It's so much about cursing or cursings in the scriptures, in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, not Bhagavad Gita, and the other scriptures. It looks like that it is very benedicted when the person is cursed. When the person is cursed, then this person gets benediction.
Depends.
Yeah.
If it's a Brahmana or a saintly person who curses, it's for the ultimate benefit of the person.
Yeah. For example, Lakshmi has cursed and Daksha and Narada Muni was cursed very favorably. What favor it brings to the person who gives this curse? That is my question.
Depends on the motivation.
Hmm?
It depends on the motivation. Like normally when ordinary people become angry and curse people and attack them, it's because of envy and they're carried by their anger. They can't control their anger like this. And they're only thinking of their own benefit. Yeah. Whereas the Brahmanas, when they curse, just like Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by a Brahmana boy. But actually it was actually for his benefit. It turned into a benefit because he met Krishna. And there's many other examples.
I mean,
like who cursed to say the two, I don't remember the name now, the two, who became two trees in Vrindavan. Yeah, Nalakuvera, yeah, right. Yeah, they were also cursed. Because they had no, they're forgetting all their, their principles by being intoxicated. And so he cursed them, take the form of trees. But because it was Narada Muni, the curse meant that they would take bodies of trees in the backyard of Krishna's house. And Krishna would push them over and liberate them from this tree bodies. I don't know if I answered your question.
Partly because I wanted to also to ask what benediction this curse brings to a person who is giving this curse. I mean, the pure devotees. So what he gets from this cursing? When someone is cursing, he gets something,
yes,
or it is
pleasing Krishna, the ultimate issue. What is pleasing a spiritual master, and that's all. You don't need anything else. That's the highest benefit you get. You're pleasing the spiritual man, pleasing Krishna, pleasing the Singadev. No? Like he is pleasing the Singadev every day. That's his service. Yeah.
Thank you very much, it's clear.
Pleasing Krishna, we have to learn. That's the essence of education, that we learn how to surrender to Krishna, love Krishna, serve Krishna. There's nothing higher. If our education doesn't get to this point, to surrender to Krishna, it's all useless. It's all a waste of time. That's why an intelligent person is supposed to, lineate everything, use everything in his under his influence for the service of Krishna. Like this building, this was not built to be a temple. There were farmers living here. They had cows also. There was a kushtal, and all these people killed the animals and performed so many sinful activities. Yeah. But now this house has become transformed to an oasis in the desert of material world. And from far away, fortunate souls are coming to progress, get benedictions, have the association with the Vaishnavas. Sadhu Sangha, Sadhava Shastri Koi. Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, yeah, Hoi, yeah, right. Koi and Hoi. It says that Sadhu Sangha. It's Sarva Shastri Koi. That means the Shastras emphasize this point. Have association with saintly persons. Sadhu Sangha. Then it says Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha. Kapila Muni explains in the third canto the time, how you say? He analyzes time. A big time, how you say? Long time. And very, 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 very short times. And Lavamatra is supposed to be a fraction of a second. I don't remember how. I think it's a 12th part of a second or something like that. It says Lavamatra Sadhusang. Even if you have only a moment association with the devotees, you cannot achieve perfection. You're studying your way back to Godhead. You're studying, you're becoming devotees. And people say, that's a danger. Don't go there. You become a devotee. You become like them. Chanting Hare Krishna all the time. Not eating meat anymore. Can you imagine as a Bavarian? No more beer and all this stuff. We heard this in the beginning. In the beginning of the movement in Germany, we were all very young. Srila Prabhupada was the oldest person, the only old person in our movement. And we were all young guys and girls. Yeah. And when we started, they started the whole thing. Die Sektenhysterie. We were called the sect of the youth. Jugendsekten. And they were warning about us. Imagine, this was not many years after, not so many years after the war. And there were still generations from the time before during the Nazis in Germany. Sometimes we go on the street and chant Hare Krishna and people would say, if Hitler was here, you wouldn't exist. Nowadays I don't say it anymore because this generation is not there anymore. And they were saying in the newspaper, would say, yes, and they forced them to be vegetarians, to become weak, and give up their independence and all that. They let them play and let them sleep on the floor. At that time we had no beds. Everyone had his sleeping bag and we're sleeping on the floor. They eat on the floor. We were all sitting on the floor. Nowadays you have so much comfort. You have chairs and Sessel even, Sofas zum Essen und so. And where does this all come from? From Srila Prabhupada. He taught us this. It says Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Payojita Vairagam Jnanam Chayadahaitukam. When one serves Vasudeva, Krishna, naturally two qualities become manifest. Gyan, how you say, knowledge, and yukta, vairagya, renunciation. You develop knowledge, and everything that is not related with your devotional service loses importance. That's a natural renunciation. Rupa Goswami also explained that. He speaks about Falgu Vairagya and Yukta Vairagya. Falgu Vairagya, he explains, is when you renounce things without knowing the relationship they have with Krishna. And Yukta Vairagya is when you become Krishna conscious. Like Prabhupada gave us this very nice term, Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness. Actually, there was a conversation with Srila Prabhupada with one of his godbrothers. No, actually, it was Sridhar Swami. No? This is written somewhere, recorded somewhere. No? And he was telling his godbrother, look, I created this term, Krishna consciousness. What do you think? No? And the godbrother was impressed. Yeah, very, very interesting. Prabhupada created many terms. No? Just like the three modes of material nature. This didn't exist. Doesn't exist in Duden. No? 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 Prabhupada gave us, or chanting. This word didn't exist in German before. There was no term which means between speaking and singing. In English it's chant. Yeah? So we introduced this, even in our books, chanting, everywhere, chanting. Yeah, this, we have created our own, how you say, terminology. Well, I don't want to expand it unnecessarily. Maybe somebody else wants to say something.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah?
No, I actually was.
I hope I can answer your question.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a little confusion what came up. Maybe I can look it up by myself, but I was just thinking, was Daksha, belonged it to the Kshatriya caste or the Brahmin caste?
He was a king.
Was the Kshatriya?
Yeah.
But then I was thinking why he was not surrounded by Brahmins who kind of told him not disrespect Shiva.
Ask Krishna.
Okay. And then another question was, does curses have a lower effect if done by less qualified people?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
This caught your attention, huh? With the curses. Somehow this curse stayed, huh?
Seems
This term.
not only by me, I think everybody was kind of with the curses. Because Daksha, then he was not so qualified. How he could then curse somebody like Narada Muni? Is it because Narada Muni accepted the curse?
Because he was completely Maya, Daksha.
Exactly, but
he was a fruitive way, karma kanda.
Yes, but how can
he was not appreciating anything beyond?
Yeah, but
especially Narada Muni came himself. He appeared in his sacrifice. Why didn't he recognize? You know, or Shiva? Even when Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, not that everyone knew that he was Krishna, or that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada says, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, only a few persons, like the Pandavas and somebody else, knew that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Interesting, no? Yeah, and we are very fortunate of having met Srila Prabhupada, you know, of having contact with Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. It says you can only have access to this understanding by associating with devotees, with pure devotees. And Prabhupada was a Maharaja. Yeah. At the time of Srila Prabhupada, sometimes people just came from the street and became devotees. I remember this is not Prabhupada was very special, but and I remember in München, you know, I had opened a temple in München many years back in 72. 72, what is it? Yeah. Wie viele Jahre sind das?
50 years, 51.
Yeah, 51 years. Yeah. And what's the point now? I become... Yeah. Anyway, so no, by associating with devotees, you become devotee. I remember, we had just opened the temple, and Hans Ruder came with a group of devotees from Hamburg, you know, and they wanted to distribute books there in München at that time. And but actually, we only had the Ishopanishad. There were no more books. and invitations like that or something like that. Anyway, so we chanted very nicely, no, in the wie heißt noch die Straße in München? Die Hauptstraße. Yeah, Kaufringerstraße. No, it ends by the Rathaus. Anyway, we're chanting there. And then we went back to our temple, chanting all the way. And there was a hippie following us with bongos. No? He was playing bongos, long hair, very unkept. No? And he accompanied us all the way back to the temple. And when he came to the temple, Hans-Uda shaved him. No? And he never left. And he became one of the best Sankirtan devotees in Germany. Ikshwaku, his name was. Yeah? This is mystical. Yeah? That people become devotees in this age of Kali, yeah? By just associating with the devotees. Yeah. And everyone has a story how he became, or she or he became a devotee. Now, I remember we had in our Back to Godhead magazine, the English magazine, we had a regular article, how I became a devotee. And devotees were telling how they became devotees. Very interesting. Yeah. It was full of miracles always, how somebody had become a devotee. Yeah. So this is very important, you know, the association with devotees. Unless we get, you know, we become connected with devotees, life just goes on. And we become more and more degraded, especially in this age of Kali. Now we had this picture once. It's still one of our books still. Yeah? That devotee is saved by Krishna, who pulls him out by a seeker from the ocean of material existence. You know that picture? Yeah, it's a very famous picture. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki? Or anybody wants to say anything else? Yeah, bitte.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the lecture. I have one question. In the verse in the beginning it's mentioned that Vishnu is not attached to the goddess of fortune. And I wanted to ask how is it with the relationship with Krishna and the pure devotee?
Sorry?
I want to ask how is it with the relationship with Krishna and the pure devotee? Is Krishna attached to his pure devotees?
Yeah, but doesn't depend on the devotees. Well, you can say it differently also. Yeah. The only thing that attracts Krishna is pure love, affection. Yeah. And actually Lakshmi also wanted, at one point, she also wanted to become a gopi. You know, because she saw that Krishna was most pleased with the gopis. But she wasn't allowed to have that relationship with Krishna. Anyway, yes, Krishna is completely independent. Actually, it's for our benefit when we surrender to Krishna. Krishna is Bhagavan. No, he has everything. There's no need for him for anything. No, he has all the opulences in unlimited, inconceivable forms. But the only thing that attracts Krishna is when we do something for him, even unconscious. Amongst the 64 qualities of Krishna, there's one quality that caught me the attention. Is its dankbarkeit. What is that in English? Gratefulness. Krishna is very grateful. That means somebody has done something for him. He never forgets. And he always tries to, how you say? That spark. How you say? Fan the spark. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if I answered the question. No. Did I answer the question? Krishna is only impressed by devotion. And it says even it's difficult to understand for Krishna. What is it that the devotees feel? No? Especially what is it that Śrīmati Radharani feels? That's why he reappeared. And the mood of Śrīmati Radharani to understand. Yeah. But this is very confidential. Srila Prabhupada actually never spoke in public about the intimate relationship of the gopis with Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also not, following in his line. Only with very intimate, how you say, devotees he would reveal things like that. Ja, Hare Krishna. Wolltest du noch was sagen?
Nein.
What called your attention?
I thought it was nice how you said how, because the whole world is imitating the West now,
Yeah.
or America still,
Yeah.
but yeah, my feeling is that it will change. That the East is becoming more relevant, and also the culture of the East will become more, wie sagt man, salonfähig.
I noticed that because I'm mostly in South America, third world. So I noticed that first things appear like in America. Then they come to Europe or something like that, and then the rest of the world. It always takes a long time until things get there. Ja, anyway, Hare Krishna. Was hat denn deine Aufmerksamkeit, wie sagt man das noch? Aufmerksamkeit erregt? No? Yeah.
The first instruction in the Bhagavad Gita, that we are not the body, just woke me up again. Yeah, actually, this is the basic. If I don't understand this, there's no...
Whenever you hear classes from Srila Prabhupada, he almost mentioned this in his class, that we are not the body. Yeah. And it's difficult to realize. Unless you actually properly situate, it's not possible to understand. Or theoretically maybe, but not realize that I'm not this body. Was hat denn deine Aufmerksamkeit?
Haribol, I found it very interesting when you were reading from the Transcendental Diaries, and how Prabhupada made the point of like taking on responsibility for our actions. I think that's very important.
Yeah.
Like anywhere, anytime.
Yeah. So do it. Was hat denn deine Aufmerksamkeit? Hier.
You spoke that you opened a center in Munich in 72, which is so long ago. And then, since then, in Munich, sometimes something was there, I guess sometimes not also. But
yes.
And so I'm wondering, why is it so difficult to establish temples solidly so that they stay?
Yeah, good question. I always mention when we speak about that, I mention that at the time of Srila Prabhupada, the responsible devotees, like presidents, GBCs, they had to write their reports to Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was mostly interested in certain things, like how many temples did you open? How many devotees did you make? How many books did you distribute? I remember the other item, but these were always the most important. Yeah? Even when they made a report about Ratha Yatra, big festival, and they wrote a report to Srila Prabhupada, would ask, so, and how many books did you distribute? How many devotees did you make there? Yeah? It has to be practical. Prabhupada was very practical. When I opened the temple, it was pretty, can I say, abenteuerlich. Like Krishna consciousness normally is very abenteuerlich. How I say it? Adventurous. No? That's why many of the young people at that time came to Krishna consciousness, because it was an adventure, it was an incredible adventure. Anyway, just shaving head all of a sudden. The status haircut was long. And all of a sudden, we shaved our heads with Sika and all that. and dressed different and all this. People were impressed. At one point I was chanting and what is that street there? Bekannte Straße in München. Nee. No. Yeah. And I was chanting all alone, no? Kartas and chanting, and chanting and chanting and chanting. And a young boy came and he stood there and was watching. No? Yeah. And then he became a devotee. I remember he became a devotee in my temple or somebody else. And then I asked him once. I met him and I asked him, how did he become a devotee? No? And he said, I was really impressed, no? That somebody was all alone on the street, dressed like that, chanting Hare Krishna like that. That left quite a deep, deep impression, impact. No? So that time, Krishna consciousness was much more adventurous, much more adventurous. Yeah. And when the first devotees came, yeah, there was an Italian became a devotee, a French became a devotee, and some others. Yeah. And then Hansaruda told me, tell Prabhupada about your temple. And I wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada said, now you have become one of our leaders. Now you must be exemplary. You must go out with them, no? Harinam, at that time was Harinam only, more or less. And get up at Mangal Arti, all that. No, Prabhupada mentioned all these things. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how I got there now. And then Hansaruda wanted me to go somewhere else, following the example of Srila Prabhupada. When Prabhupada sent somebody to open a temple or a country, something like that, once new people were coming, he told them to train them. So you can train them and they can follow you and you go somewhere else and start again. That was Prabhupada's vision at that time. Yeah. And at that time we had quite a few temples in Germany. Yeah. In Düsseldorf there was a temple. In, what is the city there? In Hessen, this big. Then in Heidelberg there was a temple. But at Stuttgart there was also a temple. And all these devotees had gone to all these places and started from nothing practically. Yeah. Nowadays when you make a plan to open a temple, well, first you have to have this, no, and you have to so many preparations and all that. No? Yeah. Because it's all more legal also. At the time when we started, it was more the kind of, we would do things, it was just adventurous, not so bureaucratic at that time. Yeah, anyway. But you have nice temples in Germany. Well, maybe München is a little, no, it's not a temple, isn't it? Is it a temple? Huh? It's a new one now. Ah, you have a new one now. Yeah. But there's so many cities here in Germany. Big cities. And where they have no devotee or no temples there. No preaching. I know places where they have many temples in the same city, like in India. Mumbai, they have they have several temples there. Was denkst du?
Well, I think that's a very nice vision, but we have to maintain these temples and to see. I think our seniors can really sing a long song of that. How difficult it is to maintain such a project like this.
Yeah, that's your duty. You have this responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. But there's other responsibilities also. Like your spiritual master told you also to open a temple, isn't it? Huh? Kind of only? I don't think so.
Actually, he wanted me to open something in Linz.
See? See?
Or in Frankfurt.
See?
Frankfurt needs a temple.
Frankfurt, that's a temple?
Frankfurt needs a temple, he said.
Oh, yeah.
There's no temple in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
So big.
Especially when you travel, you notice that there's so much need for the presence of devotees everywhere. Yeah. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki.
Hare Krishna. I would like to remind that at 3:30 we have Go Puja. So if you would like to join us behind the barn, we will have Go Puja today at 3:30. Hare Krishna.